Hello, human. Alrighty, so we can finally upload our own custom images and apply dialogue to it with the new update.
No, cut. You're supposed to say that this update is a game changer.
Damn, okay, chill. Yes, it's a game changer. Anyway, let's get started with the tutorial.
Yes, it's true, and I'm not just going to stop at showing you guys how to use this amazing new feature which allows you to add dialogue onto any image. I'll also give you a behind the scenes of how I created an entire short film that utilizes VEO3's dialogue feature. So you'll get to see some other services that I've used within the AI filmmaking process. So if you're interested in that, then stick around, enjoy, and let's get started. Alright, so let's jump straight into this. If you guys check the link in the description, it's going to bring you over to Google Flow. Now just keep in mind that you do need either a Pro or an Ultra subscription in order to use Google Flow. So once you've gone ahead and you've activated that and you've signed in, you'll see this page and you can click on New Project, which is going to bring you over to this page. But don't worry, I will also show you a free way that you can try this, which I think not too many people are actually talking about. You'll just need an X account. But for now, I'm going to continue in Flow just to show you how this new feature works. Alright, so the new feature allows us to upload our own image and apply dialogue to it. So switch from text to video to frames to video, then go ahead and click on settings. I would actually recommend leaving this on 1 so that you consume less credits. And over here by model, I'm going to be honest, I generated an entire short film using VEO3 Fast, and I think it did a fantastic job. VEO3 Fast also only consumes 20 credits, where VEO3 Quality consumes 100. So just leave it on VEO3 Fast, you are still going to get amazing results. So right now VEO3 only works with a start frame and not a start and an end frame, but that's still perfectly fine because we just want our own image. So click on plus, click on upload, and I would recommend whenever you're generating these images that they need to be in a 16:9 aspect ratio, so something that's a wide format, because it only works with these wide formats. Right, you can also go ahead and crop this in. If you do have an image that's in a vertical format, it's still going to bring that image to life. Sometimes it does like some video out painting where it'll fill in the rest of the frame, but as long as you've got a wide format 16:9 aspect ratio, you are good to go. Now click on crop and save and just let that upload. So once your image has been uploaded, you'll see that it has been applied as the first frame. So now it's a matter of crafting a prompt. So with my first VEO3 video, I actually released a prompting guide which you guys can follow, but I'll be honest, you don't need to follow this exactly the same. It just gives you a little bit more control over different elements within your scene, but I'm going to show you how I actually prompted this particular image to actually add dialogue to it. So with this particular scene, I've got an image of this man with a black cat on his shoulder and he's in a desolate workshop. Now, in order to get a consistent voice, because at the moment, the biggest limitation is that we can't upload our own audio, and I really hope that Google introduces this in the near future. By the way, I'm going to show you a quick little trick that you can use later on in the tutorial to actually control voices better. But for now, you have to essentially include in your prompt what the person's voice needs to sound like. And the way that I've got the best success out of this is by actually specifying the accent for that person. So by always including a sentence like this within my prompt structure, I always seem to get a consistent voice because the AI knows that this is supposed to be a black man with a thick Texas accent. So whatever voices they have in their database, it pulls from that particular database with that accent and it uses it every single time. So that's just an easy way to get a consistent voice. Now the rest of the scene is just describing, other elements that are present within this image. Like you can say that he's got a black cat on his shoulder, so the AI might add in some sound effects for the cat as well. It also understands that he's in a desolate workshop, so it might add in some audio of wind blowing in the desert, because the AI is really intelligent enough to also analyze that image and add some additional audio cues to it. And then over here I'm describing his action. So over here I said he looks directly at the viewer and he says. Now with Google, they've said that they've also gone ahead and fixed those nonsensical subtitles that can pop up or reduce the rate at which they pop up. But I would still recommend that whenever you type dialogue, don't include quotation marks. Just add in a dash like this, and then you can type in the text that you actually want your character to say. Also keep in mind that it generates an 8-second long video, so you don't want your dialogue to be too long or else it's going to get cut off. So once you've got all of that in place, it's as simple as clicking on this button over here to generate your video. So at this moment, you can see that the magic is unfolding. I've gone ahead and clicked on generate, and it's going to add that dialogue onto my own custom image. So the video is done. You can see I used my own image and we've applied dialogue to it. So I'm just going to put this into full screen and click on play and have a listen.
Alrighty. So as you can see, I can finally talk. This is awesome.
Now I'm sure you can see why this is a big deal, because this means you can create your own consistent short films, and I will be showing you an amazing method to achieve world consistency, so consistency across characters and the environment later on in the tutorial. But even if you do strategic prompting with VEO3, you can even get a consistent voice, but it would be nice to upload our own audio as well at some point. Anyway, I did mention that you can generate these videos completely for free, so this is how you do it. You just need to go to x.com. Now I'm sure a lot of you have X accounts. If you don't, sign up for one. It's completely for free. And then on X, there's an account called Ask Perplexity, which is actually a bot. So what you can do is you can message them and upload your image, and then it will eventually use VEO3 to bring it to life. So if you are on X, over here where you type your messages, you'll just type in at Ask Perplexity, and then it's just a matter of typing in a prompt, and you can drag and drop an image over here. So you can see I said animate this image. The woman has an Italian accent. Now, VEO does not understand what an Italian accent should sound like. It still gives her an American accent for some reason. And then you can see over here I put in the dialogue, and you just wait maybe like 2 or 3 minutes, and then the bot will reply to you. You can see over here, directly replied to me, and it animated this video. So this is the result it ended up giving me.
Yes, you can still add dialogue to your custom images right here on X by messaging Ask Perplexity.
And now if you actually want to download that video, you just click on that reply from Ask Perplexity, and you just grab the URL over here and copy it. And then there's another website called Twitter Video Downloader. Over here by tweet link, you'll paste your link, click on download, it converts it for you, and then you can actually download the MP4 for that video. And just one more thing, when you click on download and it brings you over to this page, just right click on the video, then you can click on save video as, and then you'll actually be able to save it as an MP4. Also keep in mind that I don't know how the licensing works like this with Ask Perplexity on X. So to be honest, I would just use this method to actually test your prompt to see how it actually works, and then you can go to Flow and actually generate a video. So it's just a good way that you can use this as a testing ground. So at the moment, the biggest limitation is the fact that we can't upload our own custom voices. We can prompt it to get something that sounds consistent from video to video, but sometimes the voices just don't sound 100% consistent. And this is a bit of a workaround that you guys can try. You will have to use another service. So once you've generated a video with VEO3, save your video, and you're going to go to a website called Elevenlabs.io. Now you can use this website completely for free as well. Just go ahead and log in. Once you're on the website, the feature that we actually want to use is called Voicechanger. So go ahead and select that. And over here, you can drag and drop your VEO3 video directly into this box and let it upload. Now here on the right hand side is where you'll actually select a different voice. So it's going to obviously copy over, what accent is present within that VEO3 video, but this just allows you to select a very specific voice, and the dialogue is always going to sound like that voice that you select over here. So on the right hand side over here by ARIA, if I select that, I can click on this option, and just to demonstrate this, I'll select default voices. You can use all of these for free. So I'm going to use this ARIA voice. If I click on play, I can also hear the voice.
There is no greater harm than that of time wasted.
So now if I select that, I'll know that the voice is selected whenever I see the name over here. Now I don't need to adjust any other settings. Here's my original audio. So if I click on play, I can hear the original audio from VEO3.
Yes, you can still add dialogue.
So now it's just a matter of clicking on generate speech, and ElevenLabs will give you 10,000 credits completely for free. So you can play around with this quite a bit, to test different voices. So if I click on generate speech, it's now going to do a voice changer. So it's going to analyze my VEO3 audio and convert it to this specific voice.
You can still add dialogue to your custom images right here on X by messaging Ask Perplexity.
There we go. Now I would recommend by the model, just sometimes if it's not saying the words correctly, try these, switch between these two different models until you get something that sounds better. But this is just an easy way to get a more consistent sounding voice, especially with the sound of the voice, just by using a voice changer on ElevenLabs. Right, so if you like that end result, you can just click on this button to download that audio, and now it's just a matter of separating, the VO3 audio from the Elevenlabs audio. And now if you wanted to, you could also click on voices. So on a free plan, they allow you to choose 3 custom voices. So over here, you can actually search for a very specific sounding voice. Maybe I can say French. And if I click on filters, I can filter it by, something that's supposed to sound conversational or advertisement. I can choose, whether it's male or female, middle age, all the way up to old. Let's just go for old. And then if I click on apply filters, it's going to filter it by that. And then I can choose, like, let's say Lulu.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Loulou.
Maybe I like that voice. You just click on this plus icon and it will add it to a custom slot over here. So you can select 3 of these custom voices. So this is just another way to experiment more with it. Now you would just go back to Voicechanger, and then over here you'd click on voice, and you click on this option and then click on all saved voices. Now you can see there's Lulu right over there at the top. So I'm just showing you another way to gain access to even more voices on the platform to play around with. Now the easiest way that I separate these 2 different audios, I use Capcut. You can use any program that can separate audio. In Capcut, I just drag my video onto the timeline, I right click, and then I go to extract audio, and I actually delete this audio because this is the original VO3 audio. Then I just drag and drop the Elevenlabs audio over here instead, and now if I click on play, this is what it sounds like with a voice change, and everything is still going to be perfectly lip synced.
Yes, you can still add dialogue to your custom images right here on X by messaging Ask Perplexity.
And something else that you can really have fun with in Capcut, if you actually select your audio, over here on the right hand side, select Voicechanger. Capcut actually has its own voice characters. So you'll see over here there is voice characters, and now I can change that audio to another character. So over here I select Minion, and this is what the audio sounds like.
Yes, you can still add dialogue to your custom images right here on X by messaging Ask Perplexity.
Alright, so if you wanted to, you could also do some voice changing directly in Capcut. But yeah, that's a feature that's just on this particular platform. If you're using Adobe Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve, you'll obviously have to find a way to, change voices directly in the software like that, or you can just use Elevenlabs to get a more consistent sounding voice. And now here's another option also regarding voice from VO3, but I feel like Google needs to remove these restrictions. You actually can't generate audio in a different language. You'll see over here, this was how you could do it before, but they seem to have put a restriction on it. You can see I said make her say, all of this in French, and then I did a English to French translation. If I click on the generate button, it's actually going to completely reject this. Right, you can see that it says only English prompts are supported at this time. So what if you wanted to generate a character that's speaking in another language? What you could do is you could generate the video in English, and then you could use another platform that essentially does translation with lip syncing. And this is completely optional, of course. You can use a platform called Heygen, and with Heygen, once you sign in, there's an option over here called Translate Video. So when you select this, you want to click on the hyper-realistic translation because this does lip syncing plus audio as well. Now it's just a matter of dragging and dropping your video over here. And you can see auto detect. I'll just select English for this video. And I want to choose which language I want to convert it to. Now there's a whole bunch of languages that you can choose over here. So let's say I want French. And then I just click on translate and it does a very good job. I'll show you my end result over here. So I've got it under projects. Just let this load. So here is that same video in English that's now been translated to French, and it also adjusts the lip syncing. So I'll click on play.
Oui, vous pouvez toujours ajouter des dialogues à vos images personnalisées directement ici, sur X, en envoyant un message à Ask Perplexity.
So the strange thing with VO3 is that for some reason it doesn't want to create dialogue when someone's talking, but if they're singing or if it's, they're rapping, you can actually make them rap in a different language. Like this, I said, a man is rapping about life in the wastelands in Spanish, and it actually managed to do it. So I don't know why this restriction is there in place for just standard dialogue, but just have a listen. This is in Spanish.
La vida en el páramo es dura, pero la fuerza nos define. Luchamos, sobrevivimos.
So yeah, I don't know why or what's happening with VO3 when it comes to languages. But yes, I did show you a bit of a workaround on how you can use Heygen to put actual dialogue, like conversational dialogue in another language. So now I've given you some tips on how you can better control the voices, either by doing very strategic prompting, or you can use Elevenlabs to do a voice change, or you can even change it to a different language using Heygen's translation services. Until Google allows us to actually upload our own custom voices, we have to deal with this limitation, unfortunately, but at least I'm providing some workarounds that you can experiment with. So at this point, I've showed you how to use this feature so you can upload your own custom image, give them some dialogue. I've showed you various ways that you can try and control that voice. But if you want to take this one step further, I want to show you how you can actually achieve world consistency. So it's consistency across characters and the environment. I'm going to be using a tool called Runway References on another platform. Again, this is optional. This is only if you want to take it a step further and maybe, create a short film. So the platform that I'm going to be using is FreePic, and on FreePic, I'm going to be 100% transparent with you. You will need a subscription, so it's freepic.com. I'm recommending FreePic because over here on the Premium Plus subscription, you have unlimited image generation, and this really comes in handy when you're using Runway References. So if you signed up for a subscription on here, you just want to click on Home and then click on Generate Image. So this is what Runway References allows you to do. You can just generate a single image, right? I used one image to create multiple narratives and even branching paths. So, you can generate a different camera angle or introduce other elements into the scene. And it does such an extremely good job at retaining the character consistency and the environment consistency to start building out, these consistent worlds for storytelling. So back on FreePic, under images, you just want to switch your model over here to Runway. And now I'm going to show you how to actually generate different scenes with a consistent character and environment. So all you'll need right now is a starting image. So go ahead and generate any image you want of your character. In my case, I like to include the character and any other elements that need to be present, as well as the environment, because it does a very good job retaining the overall consistency. So with just this one image, I can build out so many other images. So once I've got that, over here by image references, you just drag and drop your image, and you notice that you can add up to 3 different images over here. So you could have another character as a reference that could be generated as well. But in my case, I'm just using a single image. Once that's in place, I make sure I choose the correct aspect ratio and the amount of images I want to generate. And now it's just a matter of crafting a prompt. So in this case, you can see from this image, I said, show me a close-up shot with the man and the cat in. This is how you basically reference this image. You have to put at, and then it will show you at image 1, right? That's my image 1. The man and cat in image 1 is standing outside his desolate wasteland workshop. He's smoking a cigarette. His black cat is still on his shoulder. When I click on generate, it's now referenced that image, but given me all of these other images, and it looks very consistent. And it's also gone ahead and added in that cigarette in his mouth. So just to show you, this was my starting image, and you can see how it created a completely different scene, but everything is consistent. Even his arms, these mechanical arms, his blue overall, and it's even taken some of the color grading from this image to generate a completely new image. And from here, it's just a matter of coming up with your own ideas and placing the character in different environments. So what you can do from here, that image that was generated earlier, which was this one, I can now drag and drop that image into the image references, and then I can ask it something like, show me a side view of the shot, make sure to include the cigarette in his mouth. Now I've taken that new image that was generated and created a new camera angle from it. And you can see how you can just keep branching off and expanding from here to build a consistent world. And then all of these images can be used together with VEO3 to tell an entire story. So you'll notice over here I can use that same starting image, but now I can even ask it to show me a scene that shows the barren and expansive wasteland desert from just outside his workshop. And then I even specified don't include any other characters. So now I can get some shots that show the surrounding area as well, and it's all consistent even with the color gradient. This tool is absolutely incredible if you guys are trying to build out an entire world. Like in this case, again, from the same starting image, I just said, show me the inside of the workshop with no characters. And that's the image that it gave me. And it looks amazing. I can use that same image again. And I can specify, like in this prompt, I said I want to create a completely new character. So don't use, the man and the cat in this image. And, I just specified what this character should look like. And this is this person's father. So it's an amazing tool for creating, more detailed and branching narratives. And here's another example, like I've got this image now of my workshop with no characters in it. So if I want to use that as my starting image, I can now prompt, in this case, you know, this guy's a hot rod racer. So I use that as my starting image, and I prompted that there needs to be a hot rod within this garage. And then this is the image that it ended up giving me. So you can see just how extremely powerful Runway References is for storytelling. So have fun with Runway References. You can try multiple images, maybe have people holding products. I don't know, it's completely up to you. I can't tell you what story to tell, but I did want to show you the tool that's used for consistency, and it works extremely well. So from here, it's just a matter of, you know, generating images, you know, downloading them, you know, creating a cohesive story where everything's linked together, you know, going back and forth between Runway References and Flow, you know, typing in a prompt, you know, typing in dialogue, and then it's just a matter of connecting all of those videos together in a editing software of your choice. They can be, you know, Adobe Premiere Pro or Capcut or DaVinci Resolve. It's up to you. So here's a sneak peek into my project file for the short film, which you'll see at the end of this tutorial. And as you can see over here, like, this was an image generated with Runway References. I uploaded it to Flow and I gave him some dialogue.
Terrence, I don't want to lose you, my boy.
Alright, I gave him some dialogue, then I have another image of that character. I gave him some dialogue as well.
My arms, but I sure as hell ain't lost my passion.
Right, it's just connecting all of these videos together to tell a cohesive story. But something I feel like is very important when you're connecting VO3 videos together is you need to have some other sort of audio within your video as well. So for instance, I'm just going to mute this. These videos over here, right, which is just raw outputs from VO3. They'll have their own sound effects and all of that, but it can sound very flat. I'll just click on play.
I'm gonna lose you, my boy. Look what happened in that last championship race.
You can hear like the audio sounds very flat in this case, and that's because you need to obviously add some additional sound effects. So in my case, I've got some audio over here of, you know, this apartment room hum. It's just some ambience that I add into the background of my videos, and I keep that audio running across all of the dialogue so that the background audio doesn't sound so flat. So just hear the difference. It's very subtle, but it makes a big difference actually.
I don't want to lose you, my boy. Look what happened in that last championship race.
On.
Dad, I might have lost my arms, but I...
Just having that subtle hum adds a little bit more to the overall sound design. So obviously you're going to have to do a lot more work over here if you're trying to put a entire film together. It's not just a matter of connecting videos together. You know, it's like adding additional sound effects. In this case, I even have a soundtrack which was generated using Suno. So Suno is another website where you can do text to music. But yes, adding all of these pieces together just makes it sound so much better. So if I enable, you know, the sound effects for the ambience and the music, it sounds like this.
I don't want to lose you, my boy. Look what happened in that last championship race.
Right, it just makes it sound a lot better in my opinion. So yes, you will have to put in the work to create something more compelling and interesting to watch. So another tip, whenever I'm connecting videos together between characters that are talking to each other, I always like to overlap certain audio because it just makes it sound a lot more natural, but it's obviously going to be dependent on your specific use case and how you want your dialogue to be delivered. In this case, I've got one video where the character's talking, and then I've got a second video that starts just before this video ends. And it makes a big difference because his dialogue will start playing just before the end. I'll click on play.
Yeah, you've always...
Like that, yeah, it started during this video, and I think the way that the delivery of the dialogue actually occurs sounds very natural. It's like these two people are having a conversation with each other in the same room. So you'll see I like doing that over here. I always overlap my audio. And here's a quick tip. I mentioned, you know, having some additional sound effects that's layered with the VO3 videos. If you guys actually want to generate sound effects, we used Elevenlabs earlier, and they actually have a feature over here called sound effects. So if you select that, guess what? You can do text to sound effect. So you can choose your duration over here, and you can choose the prompt influence, if you hover over these features, it basically explains what it does. But yes, you can even generate your own sound effects on here, save them out, and you can use that for, you know, layering additional audio onto your VO3 videos just to make it sound a lot better. Just another tip. So earlier I mentioned that, you know, this short film has its own soundtrack. which over here is called the Death Collector. If you guys want to generate music for your short films, I'm going to recommend Suno.com. In my opinion, this is the best text-to music generator. You can even test it for free if you go ahead and just sign in, but it's as simple as going to create, and you can type in over here what lyrics you want, what type of style of music you want, and you can click on create and it will actually generate music for you. So you can generate a movie score or whatever you want, indie, soundtrack, rap music, and you can include that as an audio track for your short films. So I would highly recommend Suno.com. And then just another tip, not every video that you see within the short film was generated using VEO3. For instance, this starting video that you see over here, all of this was generated using Kling. So I'm using Kling 2.1. You can use it directly on Kling.com. If you guys are still using FreePick, you can actually go to video and you can generate videos using Kling 2.1 on FreePick as well with your subscription. So that really comes in handy. So this was just a great way to bring, other images to life within my short film. And there's another shot within my short film that was also generated with another platform. It's this shot right over here.
In that last championship race.
Right, that was generated using a platform called Higgsfield. Now, Higgsfield gives you access to a whole bunch of, VFX presets. So here's the shot right over here. But this platform, another amazing platform that you can play around with. Like I said, you gain access to these preset effects. So you'll always get these desired effects with those shots. So it's just a nice way to, combine multiple platforms together to tell a story. Now, obviously, that's going to get expensive. But if you guys are trying to put short films together, it's not going to be cheap, if I have to be completely honest. Another useful service that you can include within your AI filming workflow, and this one is actually completely for free. With some videos, especially with Higgsfield, they don't generate with any sound effects. If you go to this website, which is on Hugging Face, you can create an account and sign in. It's called MMAudio, which does video to audio synthesis. So you can upload a video that doesn't have any audio. You can type what that sound effect should be and then choose the duration. And when you click on play, it will actually add some sound to your video. So have a listen to this. Awesome, right? So MMAudio can't generate dialogue, but it can generate some sound effects that are actually, linked to the various motion that it actually identifies within a video. So it's a very useful service to use as well if you want to include it in your arsenal. So it's called MMAudio. Alright, so that's going to be it. Now you guys can see that you can take this way further if you use other tools like Runway References and other services to build out an entire universe. But this new feature is incredibly powerful that we can add dialogue to custom images. So now I'm going to be showing you guys a short film I created called HOTROD. And as always, you guys are super awesome. So stay tuned for some more videos and tutorials and enjoy the short film. Goodbye.
Alrighty. My name is Terrence, and I'll be starring in the short film you're about to watch called HOTROD. Enjoy.
Terrence, I don't want to lose you, my boy. Look what happened in that last championship race.
Dad, I might have lost my arms, but I sure as hell ain't lost my passion for racing.
Yeah, you've always been stubborn. Doesn't matter what I say. Anyway, how's the engine coming along?
Getting there. Just tweaking the carburetor. Should roar like a lion by next week. Don't worry, Dad, I got this. That title ain't going anywhere. All right, I'll let you focus. Scrappy, you keep a close eye on him, all right? Make sure he fixes that engine properly. These folks have no idea what's coming. Ain't that right, Scrappy?
And my soul's running dead. They say life's a game of chance, but I know better now. We all going down. We all going down. We're all going down. We all going down.
You ain't gonna be staying in first place for too much longer, buddy. Ain't no way I'm gonna let you catch me. Try harder. I see you, boy. Don't worry, I got this. Daddy's bringing home the gold.
Well, won't you look at that, folks? Black Cat is dominating this race. He's approaching the finish line, kicking up dust. It looks like we have a new champion, folks. Here he comes, Black Cat. Congratulations, champ. You deserve it. What an absolutely exhilarating race. Fantastic driving skills from Black.
You see, son, anything is possible. I know you'll follow someday. We got this.
When